in which it's common for several generations to live in the same residence. Makes it difficult to practice social distancing. Extended families often gather in large groups, he said. The high poverty rate also makes sanitation difficult. One expert estimates that 1/3 of the Navajo population lacks running water.
Wow. Thank you
Yeah.
for reading that. We had some
Yeah, I think that was good information. So I'm glad that they're doing better, and they've had 2 days in a row, the Navajo Nation, with no COVID-19 deaths. So let's all say a quick prayer and put our tobacco down, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And prayers up for them.
Yeah, exactly. So, our audience now on Facebook can hear us now that the studio has joined us on Facebook. We have a guest coming up soon here, but first, let's take a quick break before we get back to Nancy Beaulieu of Bimi'ji Rise. You're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and we'll be right back.
We have vital information we would like to share with you. The Department of Indian Works St. Paul partnered with the Minnesota Department of Health to open the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline. They provide information on testing sites, isolation space, vaccines, housing assistance, and food resources. If you or someone you know has questions about COVID-19 or has questions to determine if you should get tested, please call them at 651-304-9986. Again, the number is 651-304-9986. The Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline is open for calls Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Call the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline at 651-304-9986. That's 651-304-9986.
You may think of School of Rock as a place for kids, but we have lessons for adults too. And you're never too old to rock. School of Rock Eden Prairie offers lessons on guitar, bass, drums, keyboards, and vocals. We also have adult bands if you want to jam with other adults. And if you're an AM 950 listener, you get 10% off weekly packages of 45 or 60-minute lessons. Visit EdenPrairie.schoolofrock.com or click on the link on am950radio.com for more information.
Hey, Ogama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
We are the Aleutian Nation. Hey, welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade.
This portion of the show is brought to you by the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline. You can call them at 651-304-9986 Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. with your COVID-19 questions.
Hey, we're so excited to first have Nancy Beaulieu here live on StreamYard with us and looking good, looking like she's a hard warrior all over the upper, well, we like to call it the occupied north. We used to what did we call it before? The deep north. And now it's the occupied north. And we're fighting back with sisters like Nancy, you know, in a good way. So Nancy, let me unmute you and say, welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake.
Well, again, it's just a pleasure to hold this space. And our guest today is Sasha Beaulieu from the Red Lake Treaty Camp. But before we get her on, I'd like to share a little bit about our exciting weekend. Sunday, we were invited to have a little private meet and greet with Jane Fonda out at Winona's farm. So a big chimikwich to Winona for the invite. And it was a pleasure to know that someone with her status has a heart and is willing to use her platform to help amplify our Line 3 resistance here in Minnesota, because we know all pipelines are bad. And this was basically a space that, was created to bring her here to Minnesota to show her what was going on and what we're going to do to protect our water. So Sunday we were at the farm. We had some good eats, wonderful, wonderful water protector sisters out there. And we got a chance to, have a little one-on-one with Jane Fonda and tell her exactly what our resistance looks like so she can carry that messaging forward. Monday, just yesterday, we met at the Crow Wing River towards Park Rapids, and Jane was our guest of honor yesterday, and that was a very, very beautiful, inspiring, powerful day. And it was really good too, Robert. We've seen some more of our native water protectors out there as well, and we need our drums to show up and whatnot, and our jingle dresses. But yesterday, Jane Fonda got pulled over by the police, of all people to get pulled over yesterday. And she said, I think they followed her about 12 miles. And so our guest of honor was a little late. But, the good thing is that she has a lot of followers. She is got her Fire Drill Fridays, and she's not new to this. So, just to have her around was just a great, great honor to have her be here to help amplify our messaging and stand in solidarity. And she knows we matter, and that's just the kind of solidarity we need here.
Wow. I noticed you called her Jane. You guys are tight now, huh?
Oh yeah. I got that one picture. Yeah, Robert. So that's what yeah.
I had FOMO when I saw that.
Yeah, I kind of figured, but
FOMO.
Oh, you know what FOMO means, right? Fear of missing out.
Right, and I'm kind of shy about that too, Robert. And then he threw me on StreamYard tonight, but that was one picture I had to have. And I think, again, I'm always going to hold it dear in my heart, that her visit here was something bigger than her, and how she too, makes the sacrifice to step it up. And she's been arrested quite a few times, and not this time, but maybe next time she comes back to Minnesota. But we got a lot of good work coming forward here, and I think just her being here has really, really given it the amplified voice across the nation. So we hope, these next few days and the next few weeks that we get people coming here to Minnesota, because they're getting really ready to drill under the rivers. And so we're going to need some bodies. We're going to need people just to bear witness. And when you come here and stand with us, Robert, you don't have to get arrested. And we know it's COVID, but we're doing our best to follow the COVID protocols and do social distancing, and we do wear our mask. But I understand.
Nancy, I'm always impressed with everybody wearing masks and keeping social distance. I've been up there probably 4 times, and that's been the case with the legislators were up there, and I went up to the new camp, and everyone was masked up.
Right. Even when we're hanging around the campfire, Robert, we are still wearing our mask. And so the good news is we look forward to meeting new allies after Jane has come through and shared our story. And we just need people, and we need them soon. And so the exciting news is March 22nd, we have a day of action up north here. And we're going to be standing in solidarity with the Fond du Lac camp and the Red Lake camp as well. So we got White Earth, Fond du Lac, and Red Lake coming together. And we're going to be calling on all of our relatives. And towards the end of my show a little bit today, I just want to do a little recap of what that's about. But, I got some really exciting news. And I'm just going to give you a little rundown because there's so much to share about it. And this is probably Frank Bebo's position to be talking more of the legal part. But what I do know, back in 2019, the fall of 2019, the 1855 Treaty Authority passed the rights to the Menominee. And they have rights, just the rights has rights just like we do, to exist and to thrive. And if we don't write these resolutions, we have corporate powers that, don't care about those living things, and we're all made of those things, and we depend on those things. So the 1855 rights to the Minoman not only gives rights to the Minoman, it gives people like myself, especially in the 1855 treaty area, rights to protect the Minoman without being criminalized. So the exciting news is just last week, White Earth also passed another resolution for, again, the Chippewas of Minnesota. And what we can do is go out to the exterior of our reservation lines, not just in our reservations, but in our 1855 treaty territories, that we can go protect our sacred elements. And if the county comes and gives us a ticket, we will not be heard in their courts. We're going to actually go back to the White Earth Tribal Court to be heard. So there's a different position taken there, and there's some things that have to be worked out. But we're in the beginning of all that, and we understand that the state will probably challenge us, because they don't want us to, know what to do when we know what to do. We got smart people like Frank. We got Winona. We just got all kinds of good people showing up, and we're in a new time where our people, we know how to write letters. We know how to show up. We know how to become delegates. We know how to run for office. And so I think all this work that's taking place right now, Robert, especially for the White Earth position or opposition to Line 3, I think it's really going to help our resistance to Line 3 here in the White Earth area and in the 1855. So I think I look forward to getting arrested now, Robert.
That's awesome, because you might get a pass go free card from Monopoly and hand it in. But there's another thing that you just mentioned too, which I really kind of grasp on, because every time we get together, you say a little statement like you just said something like they don't want us to know what we know. That's our next T-shirt.
Right. Just like I said, we're going to learn how to play this game, and we're going to learn how to play it better. And I think that's exactly what we're doing. And there's so many facets. Some people are about direct action. Some people are about writing letters, and some people are just behind the scenes organizing. But I think when we build on that people power, we bring so many skills to the table. And that's a threat to them, because we know how to show up, and we know how to make things happen. And I think we're at a point in history right now where we really, really have to say the time is now, and we need our people to step it up, because this is more than a pipeline. This is about our treaties, this is about our culture, and this is about the seventh generations. And I'm going to say it, what good is everything else without clean water? So we have to make that a priority in our all too busy schedules. And I hear it time in and a time out, and I get it. And we're all busy, but sometimes you just have to give up something to protect it. I want to go picking blueberries. I'm going to cross my fingers this year, Robert. The last 3 years, because of Line 3, I didn't get to pick blueberries. I had to protect the water, and I had to stop picking blueberries, because I ain't going to pick blueberries 10 years down the road if I don't protect the water today.
That's right.
So I did sacrifice that, and I know somewhere in time, the creator's going to give me maybe some extra time to make up for all this, that's my hope. So, but, we do have to sacrifice, and, I don't mean to, make anyone feel bad, but honestly, there is going to be nothing left if we don't have the clean water. And this is the time to protect it, because Enbridge is here in the occupied north, like Robert says, and they're getting ready to drill. And I think the most we've seen at one given time up here in our area is maybe 50 people at one action, and yesterday was a little bit bigger because we had Jane in the house, but we need your boots on the ground.
Yeah, let's talk about that more. And we're going to get your guest on. This is so exciting that we're going to be on StreamYard and talk face to face with Sasha. And this is awesome, Wendy.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad Jane Fonda's all about it. And you know what? She was at Standing Rock too. So.
During Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I mean, she's an older woman. She's in her 80s, and she doesn't care about being in cold Minnesota when she's freezing and it's snowing. So go, Jane.
Right on.
Right,
Hey, you're
right.
listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm Wakunja Hadi, and we'll be right back.
Stay with us.
Hey, Wendy, what are we doing for dinner after the show?
How about we go to J. Selby's on 169 Victoria Street in St. Paul? They have a delicious plant-based menu that's compassionate and environmentally sustainable.
I'm getting their spot-on vegan Big Mac, the dirty secret.
You can pick up and they deliver within a 5-mile radius, or you can call them at 651-222-3263 or visit jselbys.com.
Well, you sold me, Wen. Let's go order at J. Selby's tonight.
I'm hungry.
When you're trying to stay safe, you want the best protection possible. And when it comes to PPE, that means Lutema. Made in the USA with the highest quality materials, Lutema has mask sizes for all. Lutema masks pass ASTM Level 3 and NIOSH efficiency standards and come in a wide variety of colors and types, including M95i. Get your American-made face mask at Lutema.com. That's Lutema.com. And get 40% off your first purchase single item with promo code RADIO at Lutema.com.
Hey, Ogama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States, and 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected. Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf. Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy. As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired. Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? You really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you.
Sisters like
Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067 or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
Hey, Minnesota, it's Brad Friedman, your friendly investigative blogger, journalist, troublemaker, and host of the Bradcast. Weeknights at 7 on AM 950.
If you're hurting in your relationship or have been affected by sexual violence, you're not alone. Strong Hearts Native Helpline can help you through these difficult and uncertain times. Strong Hearts Helpline is a free 24/7 confidential domestic dating and sexual violence helpline for Native Americans. Help is available by calling 1-844-762-8483 or by clicking on the Chat Now icon on strongheartshelpline.org. This message is sponsored by the National Indigenous Women's Resource Center.
Hi, it's Tom. Solar power is more important than ever as a long-term investment for yourself and your community. And that's why I trust All Energy Solar to provide a cost-effective, environmentally friendly energy system. But several key incentives that make solar available will be sunsetting in 2021. So now is the time to get your solar project on the books. All Energy Solar can walk you through the process using their zero-contact virtual evaluation process. Financing options are available to those who qualify. So go green and start saving at allenergysolar.com.
AM 950 weather. I'm Patrick Lilly. Slight chance of snow showers tonight with a low of 33, and then another slight chance of snow showers on Wednesday with a high of 44. Tax season is already upon us, so get started with Moe's Tax in St. Paul. Working for you, not the IRS, since 1971. Call 612-721-2026 or visit moestax.com. That's MOHS tax.com.
Annie, I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
We are the Lucent Nation.
Welcome back. Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakunja Hadi.
This portion of the show is brought to you by MN350, a grassroots organization fighting for climate justice.
Hey, what a coincidence here. We got someone that works for MN350 on here. Wow,
Yeah, what a
that's awesome.
coincidence.
Hey, so Nancy, we see we have Sasha on here, and I'm going to unmute her, and then I'm going to let you take over a little bit here. Or Sasha, can you unmute yourself? I see you are muted. There you go. And
Hi.
go ahead, Nancy.
All right. Just before I put Sasha on, I wanted to share that we have World Water Day next Monday, March 22nd. And so we are calling out to all the drums, pipe carriers, and dancers. And we welcome them up here, up in northern Minnesota, to stand in solidarity and join us in prayer and resistance at the Enbridge Line 3 pipeline. And we're going to be at the Mississippi. And so we want you to meet us at the White Earth Protector Camp, and let me see, between 11 and 12, and then we're going to caravan over there. So we're calling on all of our relatives and our allies and our drums and our firekeepers. And you know what, Robert, we want to show up by the hundreds. So we're really making a huge call out, and we hope that Jane, when she shared our story too, that will help get people here. So March 22nd is next Monday, 11 to 12, show up at the White Earth Water Protector Camp, and we will go from there. And up next, we have Sasha Beaulieu. She is leading the Red Lake Treaty Camp, and I want to give her the space to tell us what's going on in Red Lake and what we look forward to. So welcome, Sasha.
Hi, Nancy. Yeah, we're over at the Red Lake Treaty Camp over at St. Hilaire. Yeah, so far there's not too much work going on right now. They kind of did their staging as far as they can. So, as far as activity over there, it's kind of minimal. But as far as camp goes, we're trying to provide a lot of structures for people to come and be able to come and occupy with us. I got a few army tents coming in. I got a couple of tiny houses.
We're kind of losing
We
you
got
now,
solar out there.
Sasha. We're kind of losing you right now. We had a really
Wood.
good signal with you.
I think we lost her.
Yeah, we may have.
Nancy, if you could take over now, that would be great. And
All right.
before, yeah, that's too bad that we lost Sasha. I guess we just had a bad connection there with her. Well, the one thing I wanted to mention about Jane, if we can just go back to Jane Fonda again, that, yesterday in her recording, we played it on AM 950, and I loved that she was saying that, she wants to get in touch with the Biden administration. She wants to end line 3, and it needs to be stopped. And the Biden administration needs to help give sustainable union jobs and transition pipeline people to these new jobs that are sustainable. And I really loved that she really made that a really big point, that she does care about the workers, and it's not that it's their fault that they're up there. They're just working, and they're just doing their jobs, and that it really needs to transition smoothly to a sustainable jobs with solar energy, to electricity, to wind power, whatever it may be.
Right. And, I'm glad you mentioned that. And I'm glad Jane brought it up as well. And we hear Winona talking about a lot of the time. But, they say water protector versus pipeliner. And we see that's how it's divided, our communities, that the community thinks we're trying to take jobs away from these pipeline people, but they're people just like us, and they have, bills to pay. So what we need to do is really focus on the Green New Deal. We need to focus on removing the pipeline away from, get it out of Leech Lake. And we need to update our infrastructures, where there's places where there's no water running. So there's all kinds of different ways that we can employ the pipeline people. So I think it's critical we start having that conversation more often than not, and remind the Biden administration the time is now, and let's create jobs for our pipeline people that depend on money just like the rest of us do. So I think the Green New Deal, we should be pushing more of that. And I think having that conversation and reaching out to the communities and reminding them that we're not here to take anyone's job. We're here to imagine a future together. And what does that take? And that takes the Green New Deal. It takes a whole different set of skill sets to move, get windmills up and whatever. So let's start, training people and making policies that make this kind of stuff happen. So I think we're on the trajectory where we could start having those conversations now that we have Biden in office. So I think if we put the pressure on, continue to have those conversations, I think we can imagine a future together that's more sustainable for all living things.
Exactly. That's well said. And I think that's such a great idea, Wendy. What you brought up was, it's not their fault and it's not us against them. We just need to transition. And again, we did this during the Great Depression when FDR was president. We changed the whole economy around. We put people to work. We built infrastructure, and our infrastructure too now is crumbling. So that would be
because that's probably the last time it was brought up to date was when FDR was in
or the 60s,
yeah,
at least 50 years.
Absolutely, bridges and
because 94 went through here in the 64, I believe.
Yeah, so we need to update and move on.
Yeah, definitely. So what else you got going up there, Nancy?
Well, 2 weeks from today, I don't have a calendar handy right now, but I think we're going to show up at the Beltrami County Commissioners meeting, and we're going to show up in a really, really powerful way. We're going to bring drums, we're going to bring dancers, because we have an issue here in Beltrami County. Our sheriff, Sheriff Beidel, has spent $189,000 on riot gear. And again, treaties were intended for us to be good neighbors and good stewards of the earth. Well, when we got Red Lake and White Earth, and now Mille Lacs opposing Line 3, so is Leech Lake, but Leech Lake is, not really in the limelight right now like the other tribes. But, Leech Lake, White Earth, and Red Lake, we all bring huge spending power to this county. And we should have, part of the dialogue and decision making that's taking place. And I don't think supporting Line 3 with riot gear is a good way to treat your tribal nations that are surrounding this county here. So Commissioner Gosvick thinks that shouldn't be an issue of ours, because Line 3 won't run through our area once the replacement or the relocation happens. But you know what? When we're spending $189,000 out of this county, it does matter. And it's not a good way to treat White Earth or Red Lake when they haven't had their day in court. So we're going to show up and we're going to remind them we're still here like we did when Trump came to town. So I think it's going to be a very powerful day. And I think it's going to be something that all the commissioners are going to take away when they realize that they too are treaty people. And we're going to keep showing up in all these different spaces and places and keep reminding people that we all have to be good to each other, and we have to be good to Mother Earth, because one of our lessons is we have to leave it in a better way than we found it. So these corporate powers that, drowned our voices, and they tell us to get over it, Robert, it's still happening. And that's why we have to keep showing up.
Yeah, and we're showing up in a good way. It's getting warmer out. I think people are going to be really focusing on what's happening with Line 3. And I'm excited. I might come up there Monday. I know Ogama will be there for sure to represent AM Native Roots Radio and maybe do a live news report up there. But it's time. We're ready to go. We're on StreamYard now, so we can record basically anywhere as long as there's Wi-Fi, Wendy, and you'll be holding the fort down here at...
I'll be at the mothership here.
Yeah, that's
just
right.
holding the fort down.
That's
right. Yeah,
so
and Robert... We got a booster van that we have IEN that's willing to share. So when you come up north, just make sure that we have you, because where the occupied north is. That's also considered the Poseida Triangle. So we want to make sure we're going to broadcast far and wide when you show up. So yeah, and
And I remember too, when we were doing Standing Rock, that it came out too that we were being blocked by the police and all the militarized police out in Standing Rock. We could only go on, if you remember, we could only go on Facebook Hill there to take any kind of make any kind of phone calls. And I know Wendy and I were staying in different places on the camp with our RV, and I would stand like in the corner with my tippy toes with one hand behind my back, and I could get Wi-Fi. And so
Right.
It was true. Yeah.
There's that stuff going on now too.
Right.
Yeah.
And we got to help our sister Sasha out up in Red Lake with some type of hotspot or something, because we keep losing her. And, I just want to hear an update from Sasha, and for her to share, how we could support her as well. So for now, I would hope they could follow her, Sasha at the Red Lake Treaty Camp on Facebook for any updates or how they could help out, support the camp up there.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff happening up there, and we just need to amplify that so much. And yeah, this is totally always when we do the Tuesday show, it's always very, very informative about what's going up there, Nancy. And, we really appreciate you and what you do for us. We appreciate it so much, and we'll be up there as much as we can. And we'll be broadcasting live on AM 950 and all our other sister stations across Turtle Island to amplify what's really happening and how we can help.
It's great seeing you.
Right. We'll see you on World Water Day.
Right on. That's right. Hey, you're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and that was Nancy Beaulieu. We'll be right back after a short break with our Sacred Animal section.
Stay with us.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy, but with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
How good are Toyota Siennas from Rudy Luther Toyota? Not only have they been a savior when it comes to getting my family around, I've enjoyed them so much I'll own one as long as I'm driving. The all-new 2021 Sienna features an all-hybrid powertrain to go along with the Toyota Safety Sense Sienna provides, plus an amazing comfort, which makes even long road trips a breeze. And you can upgrade to Wi-Fi, Remote Connect, and Apple CarPlay. Fall in love yourself by test driving a Toyota Sienna today at Rudy Luther Toyota, 5 miles west of Minneapolis on 394.
We have vital information we would like to share with you. The Department of Indian Works St. Paul partnered with the Minnesota Department of Health to open the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline. They provide information on testing sites, isolation space, vaccines, housing assistance, and food resources. If you or someone you know has questions about COVID-19 or has questions to determine if you should get tested, please call them at 651-304-9986. Again, the number is 651-304-9986. The Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline is open for calls Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Call the Twin Cities American Indian COVID-19 hotline at 651-304-9986. That's 651-304-9986.
This is Winona LaDuke of Honor the Earth, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio. I'm Awake.
We are the Lusa Nation.
Hey, welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanjade.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations. Oh!
Hey, this reminds me of the days during our old show, Pilot's Progressive Party, where it's you and me and a piece of paper.
That's right. Piece of paper. We got it. I just want to update, our Strong Hearts Native Helpline launches a text advocacy. So you could text them. And this is going to be starting on Monday, March 22nd. Text advocacy can be reached by using Strong Hearts Native Helpline number, which is 1-844-7-NATIVE.
Wow.
Yeah, nice and easy to remember. 1-844-7-NATIVE.
Well, that is easy to remember.
Yeah, and it's nice because, sometimes people can't talk in their house because, if they have a person who is maybe domestically hurting them, right, in some way, and they're in one room and they don't want to talk, they could text, and somebody will text them back, and they could help them that way.
I got to just say this about that, Wendy. It's really interesting because, I watch TikTok and we're trying to really get a presence on TikTok. We're just thinking about it. We're not doing anything about it. So really, I'm listening to TikTok.
We have to practice a dance routine.
No, we have to support
Can
the
I
show.
choreograph?
But this is what I want to say, that there's been a couple really eerie ones where they play the phone call of somebody that's being abused. And they're like acting like they're calling a pizzeria.
Yeah,
have you heard that?
I have heard it.
Stunning.
And what the woman, it was a woman who was calling somebody for help, and what she did was she raised her hand like this. You could see it on her Facebook. So it's your hand is up and your thumb is across, down across your hand, and that's the sign that you tell somebody that you need help.
Right.
So if you need help, everyone should be aware that if you see this sign or somebody doing this, then they need help.
This was a little different. They called a pizzeria.
Oh.
And they called 911 and acted like they were ordering a pizza.
Oh.
And the person on the other side could hear this young woman ordering a pizza, and the lady was 911 operator saying,
I see. And
you're calling 911. It says, yes, I would like 2 pizzas. And so she was answering that like that. And I've seen that a couple times in different ones. Very eerie, very smart, but very sad that we're still at this. But it was good because the final end of the show was, the 1-minute video was the police arrived
at the house. So yeah, that's a really good idea. I would never even think of that. But
call
that's
911.
Call 911, pretend you're pizza, or unbelievable. Give them the address. Yes, my address is my address
you have to give the pizzeria place your address. So it's brilliant, but it's also it's from a real 911 call. So and it's put up there with pictures or maybe acting it out or something. That they how they do it on
TikTok.
I forgot what it was.
Yeah, well, TikTok. I need to get off TikTok because you send me like a video to
Just
watch,
one.
and then I watch it. But then what happens is when you're done, the next one pops up, and then you watch that one, and then the next one pops up, and then you watch that one, and by the time you know it, an hour passed by. It's really bad. But anyway, I wanted to tell everyone.
Sorry about that.
Those of you who don't know this, I'm a humane policy volunteer for the Humane Society of the United States, and I work on animal issues at the local and state level. And today, Robert, this afternoon earlier, I was on a Zoom call with my House Representative, Dave Pinto, and I was on with other 2 colleagues that are also humane policy volunteer leaders, Sadie and Mira. So if you're listening, guys, thanks. And I think we did a pretty good job. We all took a turn, and this is Humane Lobby Week. And what we do is, and we encourage everyone to do, is to get in touch with your House representative and your Minnesota state legislator, state senator, and to talk about these bills that we want to get passed in Minnesota. We want a humane Minnesota. And a lot of people say to me, oh, Wendy, there's so many more important things to talk about than animals. Why do you care about turtles? And the reason is, and what I say is that it's humane, and it brings a fundamental humaneness to us all, and it starts with the least person or or sacred animal that does not have a voice. So the sacred animal does not have a voice. We have to stand up for the sacred animal. So one of the issues that we talked about with Dave Pinto was to save Minnesota wolves. They're in danger right now, right? They were taken off the U.S. Fish and Wildlife, the Endangered Species Act. So the Endangered Species Act, they are off that now. And guess who did that? Our past administration, 45, took them off. And it's a political thing. And, Dave Pinto knew that. He said to us, was that a political thing, or were they taken off the Endangered Species Act because of science? And the answer is they were taken off the Endangered Species Act because of politics, not because they're safe and they should not be killed.
There's too many of them.
There's too many of them.
There's no room in the end anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
But really, Minnesota value wolves. Not only are wolves vital to keep our ecosystem healthy and biologically diverse, but they are deeply valued by the majority of Minnesotans. For example, a recent survey found that over 2/3 of residents expressed a positive attitude towards wolves, compared to only 19% that expressed a negative attitude. That same study found that 86% of residents said they would like to see about the same number or even more wolves. Additionally, nearly half of the residents were opposed to a potential wolf hunting season, and 58% were opposed to a wolf trapping season. So we need to take care of these majestic animals, and we do not want what happened here in Minnesota, what just happened in Wisconsin. Wisconsin had a 3-day hunt, and over 20% of their wolf population was killed. That was over 216 wolves that were just
quickly
murdered in 3 days.
And they were going to have it 2 weeks.
Yep,
and
they were going to have the wolf hunt.
All these people that were
and they just went out and obliterated these poor wolves, and their bodies were just thrown in a dumpster. You can't eat a wolf. At least I don't think you can. No. And it's really, really sad. So another statistic is that nearly 1,500 wolves were killed by trophy hunters and trappers in the Great Lakes region the last time they lost their federal protections. And this includes 923 wolves in Minnesota. Many of the wolves killed at that time were pups. Yeah, so they'll go and they'll kill the pups too. So, listen, we all can do like what Nancy said. We're not all equipped to go up north and to be up there and to travel and to get arrested. For our sacred animals, you can call your House representative, you could call your state senator and ask them to, support these bills. I put some on our Facebook page, Native Roots Radio. You could go on our Facebook page and scroll and you'll find the bills. You could also call Tim Walls. We're asking him to help with
I bet you have his number handy too. Maybe mention line 3.
651-201-3400. I have it memorized. So 651-201-3400. Give him a call. You can leave him a message. His legislative assistant, will make a note and send him your message on his desk.
I'm sure they can't wait to hear from us too.
He hears from us once a week.
They know your voice.
I know.
I would like to end with these thoughts. If you're listening to the show, you are part of the resistance. We all are on trial from Chief Plentycoops. The ground on which we stand on is sacred ground. It is the blood of our ancestors. We need to resist, divest, join a group, run for office. We're still here. We are the 7th generation. Free Leonard Peltier.
Stop line 3.
Hi, my name is Frank Brown, owner of Minuteman Press Uptown, and I'd like to tell you why you should choose us for all your printing needs. While it's true Minuteman Press Uptown provides